Hello friends, today we will be discussing about important semiconductor device which is transistor and how it acts as a switch. So you know that the transistor has three regions of operation. One is active region, second is saturation region, and third is cutoff region. So I will be drawing a chart in which how we can get those regions of operation in the transistor and what is the application in those regions will be covered. So let us have the chart in which I am considering input side, then output side, then what will be the region of operation, and the last one is its application in that particular region. So let us have a chart that will give me the idea how transistor works, and in that region if it is working then what will be its application. So I am considering four different conditions. Let us have input side is forward bias and output side is reverse bias. Second condition that I will be considering is input side is forward bias and the output side is also forward bias. Then input side is reverse bias and output side is reverse bias. And the last condition that remains is the input side is reverse bias and the output side is forward bias. Now see what will be the operation of this circuit in this particular region. So remember, when the input side is forward bias and the output side is reverse bias, the transistor acts as an amplifier. It acts as an amplifier, and the region of operation is called as active region. That region is called as active region. If your input side is forward bias and the output side is also forward bias, so of course the contribution of the collector current will be from the both sides, and therefore large amount of current will flow to the circuit, and that will drive the transistor into saturation region. So this region where both the sides are forward bias, it is termed as saturation, and because large amount of current is flowing, it is acting as a short, or it will be acting as a on switch. It will be acting as on switch where large amount of current will flow to the circuit. Similarly, both the sides are reverse bias, so no current will flow to the circuit, and therefore this particular region is called as cutoff region, and the operation is off switch because no current flows to the circuit. Now input side is reverse bias and output side is forward bias, so this region is called as inverted region, and as such no application is there for this particular region. Now today's topic is transistor as a switch, so of course we will be considering these two regions of operation, that is saturation region as well as cutoff region, because in saturation region the transistor acts as an on switch, and in cutoff region the transistor acts as off switch. Okay, so now let us consider it. So for that purpose I am drawing a simple diagram that you can understand, transistorized diagram. And this is common emitter, this is your base side connected to the base battery, VBB plus minus. This is your transistor, this is collector resistance RC, this is base resistance RB, and this is your power supply plus VCC. Now consider this. If I apply KVL to the collector side, if I am applying KVL to the collector side, of course this particular voltage is to be considered, which is VCE. The voltage between the collector side and the emitter side is termed as VCE, the voltage between collector and emitter terminals. Now if I apply KVL to collector side, see what will happen. VCC will be equal to the current flowing here is IC, of course collector current flows through it, so ICRC plus the voltage drop between collector and emitter terminals called as VCE. Now I can have two conditions here because I want the transistor to operate in saturation and cutoff region. So I want the current to be maximum and I want the current to be zero. So let us have it from this equation. So what I will be doing is I will be just finding out the equation for IC first. So IC will be equal to VCC minus VCE upon RC. This is a simple equation for the value of IC. Now see here, we want the IC to be maximum and we want the IC to be 0. So let us have first case where I want the IC to be maximum. So if IC is to be maximum, the value of VCE should be 0, right? So that you will get the value of IC. So if I put, so for that purpose what we need to put is, we need to put VCE is equal to 0. So therefore IC max that I can get is VCC upon RC, and that is called as saturation current value. This is called as saturation current value. Okay. Similarly, the second case is I want IC to be 0. So for IC to be 0, if I put IC is equal to 0 here, you can see RC will become 0 and VCC will be equal to VCE. So for IC is equal to 0, what should happen? VCE, it should be equal to VCC, because IC is 0. The entire drop across this particular resistance becomes 0 and VCC will be available at VCE. Therefore VCE becomes equal to VCC. So I have got two values of IC. One is maximum IC where its value is VCC upon RC, and when one is IC is equal to 0, and this particular value is called as cutoff current. This is called as cutoff current. Why? Because the value of current here is coming out to be 0. Now let us draw a DC load line that you already know, you must have studied in electronic devices and circuits. So let me draw the graph between the current IC and the voltage VCE. See here. So IC max will be available at this point. Of course you can see graphically also the value of VCE at this point is 0. See here. IC is maximum when VCE is 0. So at this point you will get the maximum value of IC, which is called as IC max or IC saturation, and its value is VCC by RC, and I will write it as IC sat or IC saturation value. Similarly, when IC is equal to 0, VCE is equal to VCC. So I can say that IC is equal to 0. So here somewhere I will be getting the value of VCE to be VCC. So now let us join these two lines, these 2 points. So I have joined these 2 points. Now the line joining the saturation point and the cutoff point is called as DC load line. Is called as DC load line. This particular line is called as DC load line. Okay. Now why I have drawn it? Because from DC load line we can calculate the operating point, and operating point is very important, because if you want the idealized result for the transistor, you need to operate your transistor on the Q point or quiescent point or the operating point. Okay. So we have got these 2 points now, and if your transistor is operating in this particular region, of course between the cutoff, it is operating on cutoff region or it is operating in saturation region, the transistor will act as a switch. In saturation region, of course, it will be acting as a on switch, and in the cutoff region it will be acting as a off switch. So now let us consider a simple thing that we can of course explain, because if they will be asking you that the question is how the transistor acts as a switch, and then you need to of course draw everything and you need to show it. So let us try to cover it up. Transistor as a switch, and then transistor switching time, which is very important. Okay, see here a transistor. So let me cover here now. Transistor as a switch. How transistor acts as a switch. Okay. Now a transistor can be used as a switch. Of course, it has 3 regions of operation that we have already seen. When both emitter base and the collector base junctions are reverse biased, the transistor operates in cutoff region, because both input and output side are in reverse bias. And when emitter base junction is forward bias and collector base junction is also forward bias, it operates in active region and acts as a on switch. Okay. Now remember this, if I am referring to the diagram now that I am drawing, and just consider that diagram. This is your collector resistance and this is your plus VCC. I am drawing particular diagram for this, and then we will be having a base resistor, and then we will be having a base battery that will be grounded. So this is your VBB, this is RB, this is your RC, and this is your VCC. Of course, this voltage is going to be VCE, and the current flowing through the circuit is going to be this IB, input current, and IC will be the output current. Okay, so this is a simple circuit that you can be used for transistor as a switch. Okay, now see this how this particular circuit is going to operate. So I will be writing some cases here, so just understand this. Now referring to this particular diagram, here the value of IC is equal to what will be there, VCC minus VCE upon RC. So simple, applying KVL to this particular loop, so I can get the value of IC. We have in the last slide itself we have got this. And if I want to find the value of IB, of course we need to apply the KVL to the base side. So if I apply the KVL to the base side, the value is going to be VBB minus this value called as VBE upon RB. So these two current values we have calculated. Now see here, if I draw the graph, okay, between the output voltage and our output current, see, IC and VCE. If I am drawing the graph, of course you know the characteristics are like this. These are the output characteristics of common emitter amplifier. So now if I draw the DC load line here, let us say this is your IC SAT value and this is your IC cutoff value. If I join these 2 points like this, I will be getting, of course, the point of intersection between the output characteristics and the DC load line that I have drawn. Like this one is one point, another point is this, then this point. So I have marked some points of intersection, right? Now this point is called as saturation point. The first point of intersection is called as saturation point, and the last point of intersection is called as cutoff point. This is called as cutoff point. Now remember, the intersection of load line with IB is equal to 0, that is cutoff point, and the intersection at that point where IC is maximum, that is this point, is called as saturation point and cutoff point respectively. Okay. Now in this particular thing, if your circuit is operating on saturation point, your circuit is going to operate as a on switch or close switch. And in this particular point, the circuit is going to be acting as cutoff switch or off switch. Cutoff switch or off switch. Okay. Now the important thing is, what are the transistor switching times? Because switching times, transistor switching times is very important concept. Okay. So that is what we need to calculate. So let us have it first, because it is very important as far as the examination is concerned. So let me talk about transistor switching times, and then we will be, of course, explaining each and every transistor switching times. So our topic is transistor switching times. Okay. Now when the transistor acts as a switch, it is either in cutoff or saturation. To consider the behavior of transistor as it makes transition from one state to other, now let us consider a circuit. So of course the circuit that we have already drawn. So let us consider the circuit, a simple transistorized circuit that we have already explained in the last slides. So this is going to be your plus minus VBB. This is going to be RB, the current flowing through here will be IB, RC plus VCC. This is your VCE, IC, and this is your VBE. Okay, so this is the diagram that you can consider for transistor as a switch. Now sir, just try to understand this. Now if I apply an input waveform, let us say square wave. Now this is important to understand. So what I am doing is I am applying the input voltage, which is a sine wave in nature, which is a square wave in nature. So kind of this waveform I have applied. Now the output collector current output waveform I will be drawing. So it will be between IC and time. Okay, so now just we need to draw it. So for that purpose what I will be doing is I will be just taking the points down. This is what, okay. Now the diagram that you will be getting, or the output waveform that you will be getting, the collector current diagram, it will be a bit of like this. Okay, so this is your maximum value I am considering. Okay, this is the diagram that you will be getting as an output waveform for the collector current, remember. Now see, there are certain times that you need to consider here, and I am marking it. So this is your 0.9 times IC, means 90% of the maximum value of IC. Similarly, I am marking 10% of IC, so it is 0.1 times IC. So 10% of the maximum value of IC. Okay, now there are certain times that you need to understand. The first time is this. Okay, the second time is from this point to this point. Okay, then the third point is from this marking point, that where your input ends but the output is extended, right? And to the 90% of IC, and another is this point. Okay, so I am marking this point. The first point that I am marking is a TD, this is TR, this is TS, this one, and the last one is TF. Okay, now what is the meaning of this? That I will be considering in the next slide. So let's just consider this this time, right from TD till TR, means TD plus TR. This particular time is called as turn on time or T on time, and the time from TS till the end of TF is called as T off time, turn off time. Okay, now what is the meaning of these four values that we will be considering first, and then we will be talking about how they are important to us. Okay, so let us talk about the diagram that we have drawn first. So before I start with the current values or the definition of the times, let us talk about how this diagram has been drawn. The response of the collector current IC to the input, together its time relationship to that of the waveform, is shown in this diagram. Okay, now the collector current does not immediately respond. The collector current does not immediately respond to the input that you apply. Instead, there is a delay. Always there is a delay between the input that you apply and the output that you get. It is because the transistor requires a particular voltage, either 0.7 volt or 0.3 volt, to initiate its operation, right? That is called as cut-in potential. So before the transistor reaches cut-in potential, the output will not be available, right? So therefore, there is always a delay between the input waveform you apply and the output that you get. Okay. Now remember this. Now this delay is nothing but it is let us say the collector current does not respond to the input. Instead, there is a delay, and the time that elapses during this delay together with the time required, see, the delay and the time required for the transistor to reach from 0% of its maximum to 10% of its maximum is called as a delay time. It is called as delay time and represented by TD, time TD. So TD is nothing but it is the time required by the circuit to give the output after the application of input, plus the time required by the collector current to reach from 0% to 10% of its maximum value is called as delay time. Now after delay time there is called as rise time. Now what is the meaning of rise time? when the collector current, it goes from 10% of the maximum value to 90% of its maximum value. See, the collector current is rising and it is reaching its maximum value. Okay, so when the time required, or the time between the 10% of the maximum value to 90% of the maximum value is called as rise time. So see, now if I consider both these times, that is delay time and the rise time, I will say the circuit is now has reached its maximum collector current value from 0 to maximum value, okay, or 90% of the value. So if I add these two times, I will be getting a turn on time. So transistor is fully on now, or it is acting as a on switch. Okay, now let us talk about the next two values. The time required, remember the interval which elapses between the transition of the input waveform and that when the IC has dropped to 90%, means see the input waveform has changed its orientation. Now it is falling down, it is going negative. So time from that point, means where the input has negation start now, from that point to the point where your output waveform of collector current, it falls from its maximum value to 90% value. So addition of these two values will be called as turn off time. It will be called as turn off. It is because not turn off time, but it will be called as storage time. It will be called as storage time. Okay. Now what about fall time? So the time required by the transistor to fall from 90% of the maximum to 10% of its maximum value, it will be called as the fall time. Okay, and addition of the storage time and the fall time, it will be called as turn off time of the transistor. Now let us see in details the definition of these times so that you can understand it. Okay, so let us start with the first one, delay time, or I will say it is TD, delay time TD. Now what is delay time TD? There are three factors that contribute to the delay time, of course. First, there is a delay which results from the fact that when the driving signal is applied, the transistor input, of course, it will require a cut-in potential to start. So of course this is one of the factors. Another is when the transistor have been brought to the point where minority carriers have begun to cross the emitter junction into the base, and therefore of course it will contribute to TD. And the third one is the time required by the transistor to rise from 0 to 10% of its maximum value. So remember, delay time is nothing but it is having three factors. The first is cut-in voltage, the second one is called as minority injection, and the third one is called as delay. So I can say that it is the current which it is the time which is required by the collector current to rise from 0% to 10% of its maximum. That is called as delay time. Now I am defining a rise time and fall time together. So second is rise time and fall time, that is TR and TF. Now what is this? We will be explaining this. Now so remember, the rise time and the fall time are due to the fact that if the base current step is used to saturate the transistor or to return it from the saturation to the cutoff, the collector current must transfer in the active region, and the collector current increases or decreases along an exponential curve in this particular region. So rise time is the time required by the transistor to rise its collector current from 10% to 90%, and fall time is exactly opposite to that, the time required by the transistor to fall its collector current from 90% to 10% of its maximum. Okay, now I am defining the fourth time, which is called as storage time, and storage time is represented by TS. Storage time is represented by TS. Now the failure of the transistor to respond to the trailing edge of the driving pulse of the time interval Ts results from the fact that the transistor is in saturation now and it has a saturation charge of excess magnetic charge carrier stored in it. Okay, and therefore the transistor cannot respond until the saturation excess charge has been removed, right? And for removal, of course, it requires the time. See here, in easier words, if I want to tell you, I can say that when the negative input goes to negative, of course, the transistor still is maintaining its saturation stage. And you know why? Because it has excess of magnetic charge stored in it. So until this excess of magnetic charge is removed, still your value is going to be at the maximum value of IC. And this particular period, from where the negative input starts till the output falls to its 90%, this particular time lapse is called as storage time. So it is the time at which the transistor is now moving towards the negative input till the time when the collector current falls to 90% of its maximum value, and that particular thing is called as storage time. Now if I want to define turn on and turn off time, so remember, turn on time is nothing but it is the addition of delay time and rise time, and similarly the turn off time is going to be the summation of storage time and fall time. So if I add these 2 points, of course I will be getting the turn off time and turn on time of a transistor. So these are the switching times of the transistor, very important as far as exam is concerned. Now let us take some numericals based on this transistor as a switch. Even we can consider diode as a switch also, but let us now take some numericals so that we can understand the meaning of this thing. Okay, so let us start with the numerical. So I will be taking a transistor, 2 numericals. One is based on diode as a switch, and then I will be taking the transistor as a switch. Okay, so let us talk about first of all diode. So of course, what will be important thing in diode to understand is, remember, for diode there are 2 things that you need to remember. One is the diode current equation. The diode current equation is I is equal to I0 e to the power V upon eta Vt minus 1. I will be explaining each and every term written here, where I0 is the reverse saturation current, then V is the voltage applied, eta is the constant depending on the material. For silicon the value of eta is 2 and for germanium it is 1. Then Vt is the volt equivalent of temperature, and it can be calculated by T in degree Kelvin divided by 1160. This is the standard formula that you can use to calculate the value of volt equivalent of temperature. Now considering this, remember this is for the forward bias current. If you want to find the reverse current, of course what you need to change is you need, instead of using plus V, you will be using minus V. Okay, now remember this, there are certain things that you want to know, or you need to know before you start with the numericals of this. The reverse saturation current I0, it doubles its value for every 10 degree rise in temperature. And hence you can find the values of I0 by this formula, 1.0 to the power delta T, where delta T is T2 minus T1. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is, if I consider I01, that is the reverse saturation current at T1 degree Kelvin, and I02 is the reverse saturation current at T2 degree Kelvin, so I can find its value. Because if the temperature changes, of course the I0 value is going to double, but you don't know whether the temperature is increasing in the multiples of 10. It can rise to any intermediate value also. So you should have the formula to calculate the new reverse saturation current if there is a change in temperature. So it is the new reverse saturation current is equal to the old reverse saturation current multiplied by 1.0 to the power delta T, where delta T is the difference between the temperatures. Okay, now let us consider the numerical based on it so that you will understand. Voltage across, I will write it here, voltage across silicon diode at room temperature of 300 degree Kelvin is 0.7 volts when 2 milliampere current flows through it. If voltage is increased to 0.75 volts, calculate new current. This is the first part that you need to calculate, and the second one is percentage increase in current. Right. So very simple problem. They have what they have told. So what we will be doing is we will be writing the given part first. So what is given? See, voltage across the silicon. So of course the diode is of silicon, and if the diode is of silicon, the eta becomes 2. Okay. Then at room temperature, so room temperature is given 300 degree Kelvin. So I can say T is given, capital T is given 300 degree Kelvin, and the voltage applied is given 0.7 volt, and the current is also given. The current is 2 milliampere. Okay, now what it has been asked, if the voltage is increased to 0.7, means the voltage applied was 0.7, now we are applying the voltage which is 0.75, so I will call it as V1, and V2 is given to be 0.75 volts, and you need to calculate the new current and the percentage increase in the current. So of course the temperature is not changing because they have not mentioned anything in the numerical that temperature is changing. So of course we need to take the temperature to be 300 degree Kelvin itself. So before starting the numerical, let me calculate VT. VT is the volt equivalent of temperature. So 300 degree divided by 11600, and that will give me the value 25.86 millivolt. 25.86 millivolt. It is the volt equivalent of temperature at 300 degree Kelvin. Now let me calculate the current. So for calculating the current, what I will be in need of? I will be in need of the value called as I0, because I0 is missing, right? So let us calculate I0 first. So we'll write diode current I1 is equal to I01, and I01 and I02 is constant. Why? Because the temperature is not changing. So I will write only I0 into e to the power V upon eta Vt minus 1. Let me put the value. So it is 2 milliampere, so 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. I0 I don't know, that I need to calculate. E to the power V is 0.7, eta is 2, Vt is 25.86 into 10 to the power minus 3 minus 1. Remember, it is not e to the power the term minus 1, but it is entire e to the power term and then separately minus 1. Okay, and therefore the value of I0 can be calculated, and the value of I0 comes out to be 2.64 nanoampere. So I have calculated the value of I0. Now let us calculate the value that we want, that is I2. So I will write diode current I2 is equal to again I0 e to the power V upon eta Vt minus 1. So I2 is equal to, now I will be putting this value 2.64 into 10 to the power minus 9 in the bracket e to the power, see here V, what will be there? What is that? V, now the value of V is 0.75 divided by 2 into 25.86 into 10 to the power minus 3 and minus 1. Okay, and therefore the value of I2 comes out to be 5.24 milliampere. It comes out to be 5.24 milliampere. Okay. But now what is the second part? It has been asked. Percentage increase is the diode current. This is very important. So let me write it here. So I will be calculating percentage increase in current. So percentage increase in current, how we can calculate is, so percentage I will write is equal to how will be calculating it? It will be I2 minus I1, new current minus old current, divided by the old current multiplied by 100, because percentage change with respect to the original we need to calculate, right? So it will be 5.24 minus 2 divided by 2 into 100. Of course 10 to the power minus 3 is also there, so it comes out to be 162%. It comes out to be 162%. So your current has increased by 162% if your voltage increases from 0.7 volt to 0.75 volt. Okay, so this is the very easy kind of numerical that can be asked on this. Now let us take one numerical on transistor so that you can understand. So let me take the numerical on transistor. So for transistor, just I'm looking for the numerical on transistor. Okay, so for transistor, before we start, remember there are conditions that you need to understand. When the transistor will be in active region, when it will be in saturation, and when it will be in cutoff region. So that we will be first of all writing so that we can understand. So remember the transistor to be in saturation region, what should be the criteria? So for saturation region, your IC actual means the IC that you will calculate by your circuit, it should be lesser than the value of IC sat. Okay. Then for second purpose, that is cutoff region, the value of applied voltage or the value of VBE, it should be less than it should be greater, it should be less than VBB. Cutoff region, VBE should be less than VBB. The input voltage should be less than VBB, or it should be of course less than 0.7 volt or 0.3 volt depending on the material. And the last one is active region. So for active region, your IC actual should be greater than IC sat. IC actual should be greater than IC sat. Now let us take one numerical, easy numerical based on this condition so that you will understand how we can go for it. Okay, so I will be taking a easy numerical so that it will be easy for you. Okay, I'm taking this numerical now. For the circuit given, find the minimum value of HFE for the transistor to be in saturation. Transistor to be in saturation. Okay, now let me draw the diagram which is given. This is your plus VCC given to be plus 5 volts. RC is 1 kilo ohm. Then the value of VCE sat is given, and that is 0.1 volt. Okay, then RB is given 200k. Then VBE is given, VBE, so I will write it here, VBE is equal to 0.8 volts, and the voltage that is applied to the base of the transistor is of course equal to 5 volts. So this is the circuit given, and for this circuit you need to find the minimum value of HFE so that this particular circuit will be in the saturation region. Okay, so to drive this transistor into saturation region, of course it should satisfy the condition that the IC sat value, it should be greater than IC actual value. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is, this is the formula value that you need to write from the base side. Okay, that is, it is beta times IB. It should be greater than, if I apply it to the collector side, if I apply the KVL to the collector side, it will be VCC minus VCE sat See this. If I apply KVL to this side, okay, what I will be doing is I will just explaining. Before writing it directly, I can write it here. So I can apply KVL to collector. So it will come out to be VCC is equal to ICRC plus VCE SAT, right? And therefore IC will be equal to VCC minus VCE SAT upon RC. So that is what I have written it here, right? Okay. Now what is beta IB? So of course it will be beta is nothing but is HFE. So HFE times how IB can be calculated. Again, I can apply the KVL to the base side. So we'll apply here. So apply KVL to base. So it will be VBB is equal to IB RB plus VBE, and therefore IB will be what? IB will be VBB minus VBE divided by RB. So I can put it here, HFE multiplied by VBB minus VBE divided by RB should be greater than VCC minus VCE SAT upon RC. Let us put the values. HFE is what we need to calculate, multiplied by, what is VBB? It is 5 minus 0.8 divided by 200k. Be greater than 5 minus 0.1 divided by 1k, and therefore we will find that what is the value of HFE. So HFE should be greater than 233.33. If you calculate it, it comes out to be the value HFE, it should be greater than 233.33. Means this is the minimum value of HFE required so that the transistor will work into saturation and it will act as a switch. So in this video we have tried to cover transistor as a switch. Then we have tried to cover the numerical transistor switching times. Then the numerical based on transistor diode as a switch and transistor as a switch. In the next videos we will be of course continuing with our analog electronics part. Till then, stay at home, be safe. Thank you.